This is my recap on my 3 month protective hairstyle challenge. Let's do a review of everything that happened during this challenge. Okay, I know we have so many new people on this channel, but I do a challenge where I keep my protective hairstyle for 3 months, 2 months to retain more length, to see how I can retain length, reach my hair goals, reduce manipulation, and also finding alternative solutions for length retention because I know that's a huge problem in the natural hair community. People are finding it hard to retain length, so that's the main reason for this challenge. So quick one, if you participated in the last challenge, I would love to see your results and I would love to hear how that challenge was for you. So don't forget to leave that comment, and yeah, let's get straight into this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is hair prep because that was the first thing I did starting into this new challenge. Hair prep is very important, especially if you're going into a new protective hairstyle, because you do not want to immediately start doing moisture routine, going in with water and all of that, because it can cause frizziness and it can make your hair get old quickly. So doing your hair prep is very important. Prep is nothing confusing, it's just basically your wash day, but you being intentional about your moisture and focusing on mainly moisture and keeping your hair hydrated. So I always do my wash day routine first off, then I always go in with my moisture routine, which includes the LOC method, the liquid oil and cream, going in with your leave-in conditioner, going with your oils, your lightweight oils, then the cream. One thing I will say is that I stay using shea butter for my ends, not for my scalp. I do not apply it to my scalp because of build-ups, but try using shea butter on your ends and you'll notice that you retain more moisture by doing this. Obviously, hair prep like the main focus for hair prep is focusing on your scalp. That's why I mentioned washing your hair before actually doing a long-term protective hairstyle, and also your ends, because the reason why you're not retaining length is because you're not taking care of your ends. They're the oldest part of your hair, so they need so much care and love. So make sure that you're focused on your scalp and your ends, and make sure that you're focused on moisture when it comes to hair prep. That's the main thing. And also your technique and products are very important. Try doing the LOC method. It helps you to lock in moisture longer on your hair. The next thing is picking a hairstyle for this challenge. I know most people will be tempted to using extensions or doing crazy hairstyles, something that they will love for that long, but I would say keeping it simple is your best bet when it comes to these long-term protective hairstyles, because at the end of the day, when you start experiencing new growth and if you use extensions, they can even weigh down on your hair more. And also to note that not every protective hairstyle is good for your hair. You need to know what works for your hair. This is something I had to figure out because I was doing 1 month, 2 months with extensions and I will experience so much hair loss, and I'll be like, okay, maybe my hair doesn't really like long-term protective hairstyles. So I was always changing my hairstyles at most a month. I've changed my hairstyle. So try to find a hairstyle that works well for your hair. For me, I've figured out that I have fine hair strands, so that has helped me to pick protective hairstyles that work well for my hair. For instance, I don't use extensions. I just mainly do hairstyles with my natural hair. For this particular hairstyle, I wanted to try something different, so I did my normal natural hair, then added curly extensions and crocheted curly extensions to my hair just to add a little bit of style. So most people think that because you're not adding extensions, attachments and all of that, your hair is going to be boring, but trust me, there are different alternative ways to style your natural hair, keep it protected and also it looking beautiful. So just try and find what works for your hair. If you have fine hair, if you have thick hair, if you have fine hair, you can do the hairstyles that I do because I have fine hair. But if you have thick hair, maybe you can do other what they call it, hairstyles. And just try not to overdo the extensions. Because you have thick hair, that doesn't mean you should overdo your extensions, because you can still also break your hair. So just try to pick a good protective hairstyle, because you can do this challenge and pick the wrong protective hairstyle and to literally destroy your results. You experience so much damage to your hair. So picking a hairstyle is one of the most important thing when it comes to this challenge. That's one thing I'm going to say. So know what type of hair you have, pick a good protective hairstyle. And also this hairstylist that is installing your hair too, you need to be very careful, because some of them, they don't know what they're doing. So you need to make sure that the hairstylist is a good professional. She's used to natural hair and she doesn't go and overdo it and cause so much tension on your scalp, which can cause excessive shedding. So you need to also be mindful of that. One thing to notice is that after like 3 weeks, I took down my curly extensions. The reason why I did this is because I wanted to wash my hair, and I didn't want to wash my hair with the curly extension. So it's something to note, especially if you're using synthetic hair. It can get tangled and all of that. And I could have installed another one after washing my hair, but honestly speaking, I didn't want to be doing this over and over and over again. So I just did it at one time. I kept it up to 3 weeks and it was bye bye for it. I just wanted that hairstyle for the first month and it was done. Also, something to notice that the reason why I picked this hairstyle for you guys and for myself is because you can always put in new curly extensions and your hair just looks like it just made it. So it's something that you can do like every 3 weeks, 1 month, do a refresh and your hair is totally new, so you wouldn't get tired of the challenge. Okay, we're finally on my first wash day. This was a little bit different because normally I do not keep my hair more than 2 weeks before washing it, but this one took 3 weeks before I actually washed it, which, yeah, wasn't a good idea. But how many times you should wash your hair during this challenge is that I recommend you doing this twice in a month. That is once every 2 weeks if you can. That's like my recommended time to avoid build-ups, all of that. You will not experience that when you do this challenge. So just make sure you're on top your wash day routine. You're always doing your wash day routine. And also during this challenge, I tried so many new things. I decided to try black soap as a alternative shampoo, and I'm not mad about it because my hair felt clean. It didn't feel stripped. It was a more like clarifying, but it didn't feel like stripped. I still had some form of moisture going on. I think it's because of the shea butter or aloe vera that is part of the ingredients. But I tried so many new things in this challenge, which I'm going to talk about. But when you're washing your hair, one thing I would say is focus on your scalp and your ends, because your scalp health is very important. You need to create a good environment for hair growth, and also your ends, because your ends are the oldest part of your hair. So you need to make sure you wash them well so that you can do your moisture routine. They're moisturized, they don't get dry, to avoid split ends. And the reason why you need to wash your hair once every 2 weeks is to prevent build-ups. All of that is going to clog up your pores and also going to limit hair growth. So build-ups are not your friend. So you need to make sure that you're washing your hair regularly to avoid build-ups, because they are going to limit your hair growth. So that's one thing to mention. That's why I always say wash your hair twice in a month. It's very, very important. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is treatment, and the first one is deep conditioning. Normally I deep condition with my conditioner, or I deep condition with a deep conditioning hair mask, whatever is available, but in this one I use a conditioner. Deep conditioning is very important because it's that added moisture to your hair, especially if you have high porosity hair. You need all that moisture to make sure that your hair doesn't dry out. I basically deep condition every single time I'm washing my hair or do my moisture routine, because I need all that moisture to be able to lock in that moisture when I put in my oils and butter. So deep conditioning is something that you should always add to your routine, and regular deep conditioning helps to strengthen your hair and ensures that your hair retains a lot of moisture and stay healthy. So you need all that moisture for your hair to stay healthy. It helps to restore the natural shine to your hair. It has so many benefits. It helps to prevent damage, reduces split ends, improves the elasticity of your hair. So if you're not deep conditioning, especially if you have high porosity hair, try deep conditioning. You'll notice that your hair stays moisturized longer, and it's something that you just do and you rinse out and that's done. It's not something complicated. The next treatment I tried during this challenge was cloves and rosemary. This is one thing I'm so happy I did, because I experienced so much length, so much growth just by doing this challenge. I did a challenge on it. I kept it for 3 weeks and the results were amazing. I have that video up on my channel But one thing I'll say is that regular use of clothes water helps to strengthen your hair follicles, and this can lower the likelihood of breakage and hair loss. And clothes water also contains vitamins and minerals that help to benefit the scalp and hair follicles. That's why I always recommend you applying this directly to your scalp. You don't really need to apply it on the length of your hair. And it also can be used as a hair rinse when you do your wash day routine. You can use it as a rinse. And I also added rosemary to it. So rosemary helps to reduce dandruff, and it just soothes your scalp and your hair and helps to repair dryness. If you have dryness, if you have damaged hair, like, it really helps for that. So this is something that I would highly recommend as a treatment to try during your challenge. It just really does a lot. And also, one tip I'll give to you is that when you're doing this, use an applicator bottle and add a little bit of oil when you're doing this, because I do it as a leave-in. I leave it in my hair for a week, then during the week I just rinse it out. So this is something I can leave on your hair, but if you do not want to leave it on your hair, you can rinse it out, but allow it to sit for a while, like put on a shower cap and let it sit for a while. But the way I used it was leaving it in my hair for that long. So this was my result in using the cloves and rosemary for 3 weeks. That's why I always recommend this. So if you want to try this out, I have a video on how I did everything, so you can check that out. But one thing I'll say is that you should definitely try this, even if you're not doing this challenge. It's something that you should try and add to your routine. The next treatment that I did during this challenge was using aloe vera as a leave-in conditioner. This is something that I highly recommend. I don't know why I stopped using aloe vera, but during like 2020 and 2021 I always used aloe vera and I just stopped using it. But I recently started using it again and I just remembered why I loved it. It is so moisturizing, it is so soothing, and it's just amazing. I apply this everywhere on my hair, and during that time when I didn't wash my hair for 3 weeks, I used aloe vera directly on my scalp and also the length of my hair, and my hair felt amazing. That was one way I was able to extend my wash day, because I was a little bit busy. I think I was busy, that's why I couldn't wash my hair. So I used aloe vera to extend my wash day because my hair wasn't dry at all. So this is very moisturizing, and it also has so much benefits. It helps to strengthen your hair. It has like a lot of active ingredients that can help to strengthen your hair. It also contains fatty acids and amino acids, and it's also very rich in vitamin A, B12, C and E, which play a major part in creating a healthy hair follicle. And it also controls greasy hair. So if you have greasy hair, you want to extend your wash day, this is something that you can try. The aloe vera has enzymes that break down fats, and so it strips your hair from any extra oil. It doesn't leave your hair feeling dry, don't get me wrong. It strips all those excess oils, not leaving your hair dry, because it's so moisturizing. So if you've never tried aloe vera, I highly recommend it, especially since that whole some products are very contain chemicals and are harmful for your hair. So I prefer using natural things at this point, because all these hair care products, I don't even know what they're putting in them that's causing your hair to break, hair loss, all of that. So if you want to try something natural, I would highly recommend aloe vera. I have a more detailed video on how to extract the aloe vera juice and use it for your hair as a leave-in conditioner. You won't experience any form of itching and all of that, but if you're allergic to it, try and do a test on your skin first if it's itchy, because I heard some people are allergic to aloe vera. So just try and check that first before you actually try it out. The next one is hot oil treatment. This is something that I highly recommend. So basically, you just warm up your oil, you get your scalp massager and you apply this on your scalp and give yourself a head massage. Doing that massage helps to improve the blood flow on your scalp, which helps in promoting hair growth. So this is something that I highly recommend, and just try it out in your routine. Okay, so we're finally on to takedown. So this is the growth I got from my 3-month challenge. So this stage is very important, because you've done your challenge, you've kept your hair for 3 months. So takedown is very important for length retention. So if you're tired, you're in a hurry, don't do this. This is something you have to take your time on. So the first thing you do is to saturate your hair with water, because don't ever take down your hair when it's dry. Do not do that. and also go in with a conditioner or any form of product that has a good sleep, because you want to make sure that you have a good sleep going on before you take down your hair. So when you're doing this, I prefer to use my fingers when taking down my hair because I'm just extra careful. I can feel where the knots are, I can feel where I have tangles, so I can easily take them out than using combs or any other thing that can easily tug on my hair and break it off. So I always recommend you using your fingers when it comes to taking down, detangling. All of that is just important. So now we're finally on to where I got my new growth and where my hair started from. So this part, you have to make sure that you're careful to take it down. If you need to apply more conditioner or water, always going with that. So this is the reason why I said that you should always be washing your hair. You notice that I don't have build-ups, like you can see nothing is there. So I just use my fingers to separate that so that it doesn't get any matting or anything. I just use my fingers to separate it. So I went in with more water to just make sure I get all that tangles off, and you can see I'm just doing it gently so that I can remove my shredded hair. So you want to be very gentle when doing this because your shredded hair can easily tangle with your actual hair and can cause it to snap off. So just carefully just drag out your shredded hair. How to know if it's shedding is if it's the length of your hair. You notice that they are longer strands, so that's how you know you're good. So that's all for takedown. So now we're finally on my general take on this whole challenge. So one thing I would say is that hair care routine is very important. Make sure you have a proper hair care routine, whether you do your moisture routine once every week, twice every week, depending on how your hair is. For me, I have high porosity hair, so I tend to do my moisture routine in between the week. So you just have to be very consistent with your hair care routine. You don't do this challenge and neglect your hair. It doesn't work like that. You will experience so much shedding, hair loss and breakage. So make sure that you have a very good hair care routine and you are consistent. One thing with natural hair is moisture is the key. Make sure you're prioritizing your ends and your scalp. You need to make sure your ends are never dry. You need to make sure your scalp is always moisturized. You need to prevent excessive shedding and you need to take care of your ends, because if they are always dried, you're going to get split ends and to cause your hair to break off and get damaged. So you need to make sure that your ends are always moisturized and your scalp is always clean for a good environment for hair growth. So that's why I said your hair care routine is very important. Make sure you're washing your hair once every 2 weeks. Make sure you're going in with your moisture routine. Make sure that you do your moisture routine whenever your hair is feeling dry, and always make sure you use shea butter. Shea butter really helps to lock in moisture, especially for your ends. You need to make sure your ends are always moisturized, and one way I'll be able to keep my ends moisturized longer is using shea butter. One thing about this is that it's very thick, so you do not want to apply it directly to your scalp, just on your ends to lock in the moisture longer. And I also have a hack for you. So if you want to keep your ends moisturized longer, make sure that your ends are always protected and tucked in. That's one way I've been able to keep my ends from getting tangled or drying up. Just make sure you tuck in your ends, you braid that up, tuck in your hair, and trust me, your ends will stay moisturized. The other thing I was happy that I did was doing cloves and rosemary on my hair, and also doing that challenge of doing this on my hair for 3 weeks, because I experienced so much changes to my hair. It literally increased my hair growth. So this is something that I always recommend you doing in your routine. Even though you're not doing this challenge, this is something that I highly recommend. And yeah, try this out. The next thing I'll say is finding a hairstyle you can use for 1 month before you actually start wearing wigs and scarves actually goes a long way. I was able to use this hair for 1 month before I actually migrated to wigs. It helps your challenge to seem shorter, and it just helps you to not get frustrated or wanting to change your hairstyle. So just find a hairstyle where you can use it or do a refresh and it still looks good. Another thing is that I didn't experience tangles or matting. That's because I was very consistent with my routine. So make sure that you're always washing your hair to avoid build-ups, because that's what really causes matting to your hair. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is my results. Like, I'm so happy about my result. This is something that I'm just like, why didn't I know about this sooner? So this is very easy way to retain length. So this is not something that is hard. So if you want to try this, I highly recommend you trying this, because I'll be starting a new challenge soon. So I'll definitely keep you updated on when I start it, but I'm most likely going to start it next month. That's going to be October. But yeah, let me know how this challenge helped you. If you actually did this challenge, I would really love to know what your experience was, or if you're still currently on the challenge, let me know what your experience is. And if you have any questions concerning the challenge or natural hair in general, I'll be so happy to answer any questions. And don't forget to subscribe so I get updated on when I start my new challenge. Leave a comment, like, share to your friend that's probably having similar issues with length retention, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Till next time, bye.